Are you worried about what these are doing to your kids? I am. Some people say cell phones are killing our kids, robbing them of their childhood.
Mental health is declining. Attention spans are declining.
Jonathan Haidt's book about how smartphones harm kids has been a bestseller for more than a year. People like Michelle Obama call him an expert.
We've got an expert that actually knows something.
But wait, we adults always worry about new things.
Away, kid. Come on, boy.
When I was a kid, cops raided pinball arcades saying these cause delinquency. They also attacked
comic books, the monumental problem confronting your children today.
Responsible for a substantial amount of juvenile delinquency and child crime.
I think there ought to be a law against them.
Is the current worry about smartphones just another overblown panic? Before Haidt published his book, he invited other researchers to review it.
I actually was, at his request, a reviewer for his book.
Psychologist Chris Ferguson.
My advice to him was to not publish it, essentially, because it was full of errors and problems.
What kind of problems?
So if you look at kids today, they're less violent, they smoke less, they use drugs less. All that happened during the social media smartphone age.
So why the worry about smartphones?
We're probably in the midst of another moral panic.
Why do you call it a moral panic?
They're the evil social media companies. They're the bad guys. I'm a good parent because I'm not letting my kid have a smartphone until they're 37.
Jonathan Haidt does say governments should prohibit kids from using social media, not until they're 37, but until they're 16.
This is the one area where we need actually legislative help.
The kids will just buy fake IDs.
But right now, there is nothing. And as with alcohol laws, yeah, kids can still get an older brother to buy them beer. But does that mean we should get rid of minimum age laws and let every kid buy alcohol at every age?
Probably not, says Ferguson. But he reminds people that American experts once wanted similar limits on rock music.
Ozzy Osbourne got sued over, the idea that he had caused some kids to commit suicide.
The lyrics in these songs influenced my son to commit suicide.
This music needed to be regulated, tamed by the government.
We are raising our children on a massive diet of violence.
Al Gore's wife complained about
selling explicit sex and violence to younger and younger kids.
Congress proposed new laws. Dee Snider of Twisted Sister pushed back.
There is no authority who has the right, not myself, not the federal government, not some recording industry committee.
The irony is that as people began to try to censor rock music, suicides among youth at that time actually went up.
The next scare was video games.
Defender, Pac-Man, asteroids, to critics, they are a menace.
Parents who buy some of those games may not realize just how much violence they're getting.
As usual, politicians rushed in.
One place parents want us to draw the line is with violence in video games.
It had virtually no impact on how aggressive they were, whether they engaged in bullying. It didn't make them
violence
shooters.
At the time was actually going down.
Absolutely, it was going down. It turns out that mass homicide perpetrators actually play fewer violent video games.
So maybe they were wrong about comic books, rock music, video games, but this time, I suspect that Jonathan Haidt is right about smartphone addiction. I get hooked. It's just so interesting.
We adults are hooked too, but at least we made it through puberty.
Kids suffer more, he says, in many ways.
Sleep goes down. Time with friends goes down. Exercise goes down.
If there was an issue around smartphones and social media, we would expect to see a fairly, consistent international trend in things like teen suicide or diagnoses of depression and anxiety disorders. We actually don't see that.
In fact, this Lancet article points out that in Europe, as cell phone use increased, suicide rates dropped. Ferguson says if American kids are depressed, it might be because of what they're being taught.
Racism is everywhere. You can't get ahead if you're black or Latino. If you're white, then you're an oppressor. That sexism is everywhere. Why would you be happy?
More important, he says, is that most kids today are doing fine.
They're less violent, they smoke less, they use drugs less, they drink less, they stay in school more, they volunteer in their communities more. And we look for the bad news and only attribute the bad news to something like social media or smartphones, and we don't attribute any of the good news.
At least 11 states have moved to ban or restrict cell phone use in public school classrooms.
So far, Haidt's argument is winning. Some politicians want to ban social media for kids, and more schools are banning phones.
The bans may actually make things worse.
What's the cost of banning it in schools?
Unintended negative consequences. Are we suspending kids for their cell phone use? A lot of schools are. And that can cause real harm to the kids. People get convinced that they fixed a problem when they didn't. And that's going to waste a lot of time rather than looking at what might actually work.
In the court of public opinion, he's winning. You're losing.
Yeah. Well, give it 15 years. Of course, we'll be panicking about something else.
Here at Stossel TV, we don't want you to panic. That's why we make videos like this. And if you want to help us do that, please click that button.